I'd like to call the County of Granite Study Commission, March 20th, meeting to order, please. Can we please rise and say the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Is there any public comment? The minutes. I need approval of the January 16th Study Commission minutes, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from January 16th.
No, second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Agenda items. So the communication with public and government entities, as you know, when we took that class, there was some questions that they propose that you can, thank you. Questions for local government officials and employees. And so I thought I'd put it on there so that we could, number one, go talk with the commissioners and ask the same questions to the commissioners, to the public. And Gary, were you saying that Woodlands said we could put something down there? So I think we go around and put some things around, maybe for the public to be able to. We'll have some of these blank ones, and then they can put them in a box next to it. Do you guys have any other?
Let's see where those.
They were in our study material. Well, this is the elected official one.
Oh,
I just
okay.
pulled it from, and this is the questionnaire.
Oh,
and we
all
can
right.
make it easier for the
So
to see and read.
So I don't know if we want to review those and then bring it to the April meeting and then get them out. I would
we should,
think.
yeah.
Okay.
Could I have? Well,
And-
I have it in my packet. I can get it there. Yeah.
And then we will have to also get put on the agenda with the commissioners. But I feel like we do that after we talk about this in April. Are you guys okay with that? Okay.
I am.
Then we'll. Public. Okay. So the study commission communication, what are your thoughts on that? Who is it that did you get a chance to talk with the paper about putting?
I haven't called anymore because
Okay.
I'm busy on the website. So
Okay.
I figure once I get that up, you can take a look at it, and then maybe there's something we can work out, maybe not.
Okay.
I did want to ask you one question, though.
Okay.
I see, who is it, Fitzpatrick, in there several times a week. Is that paid?
Yeah, I believe, we pay him per column.
No, you pay him?
I believe so, I'm not completely sure.
Well,
It might
you
just
see,
be
my
submissions.
question was, if you pay him for that, maybe there's some leeway that we could get a little?
So Luke, do we
Something.
need to talk to Jesse
Julie List.
or Julie about how we can do that?
Advertisements would be Julie List. If you want to do press releases, that would be Peggy Kerr.
Okay. I would think press release is a better
I think
form.
so.
You could also
Sure.
talk to me about that.
Oh, okay.
But I know that Peggy Kerr sets
Right.
the guidelines regarding word count
Right.
and things like that.
Peggy, what's her last name?
Kerr.
Yeah.
Kerr. Okay. Ooh, I think I know her.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's also a big difference between columns and,
Noticing.
letters to the editor and press releases and things like that.
Sure.
So
Okay.
I think columns would kind of have to have like further insight, I guess, into the going-ons of the study commission. And then press releases would be things like announcements of meetings, things like
Sure.
that.
Okay.
Well, that's what I was really concerned about, was press releases for, like, the public meetings and for people that, just don't know they're invited to be here.
Yeah.
And, just a little blurb
Sure.
once in a while, please come.
You used to
Okay.
have a community thing, do you remember, when they'd say, think this is happening, this is happening, this is happening?
Mhm.
I haven't read the paper in so long.
They do still have that. It's towards the end of the events happening in the community.
Yeah.
We would
So,
need to talk to probably Peggy Kerr.
Yeah.
Find out.
so who's going to talk to Peggy Kerr about it? Who would like to talk
I'll be
to
glad
her?
to. I'll be
Okay.
glad to call her, because like I say, I'm a little more free now,
Okay.
the last couple of weeks.
That's great, Gary. That'll work.
If you do a Facebook post, that can be shared, like I'm the secretary of the Drummond Chamber, and I'm sure the Phillipsburg Chamber would probably share it, so that's way to go.
Well, that would be fine. I don't do Facebook. We had bad problems with it back in Minnesota. People,
The only thing with Facebook is you can't
Delete a comment.
shut off the comments.
Right.
You have to leave that on, and which is, I mean, if somebody's going to put something on there about this, well, so be it. We'll have to have some thick skin,
well, and
But
I don't mind that, but I don't want people being hypercritical about somebody personally.
yeah, exact. That's what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So, but being able to put it. I mean, I don't think there any way we can try to get it out to the public. I think is a good thing because, I think people were. I don't think they really knew what this is, and so we just want to be as transparent as possible.
So Drummond's noticing we are putting it on the Facebook and the website.
Right.
currently.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
Well, and
Just
I
for-
imagine, isn't our stuff going on with the commissioner's website?
I think they were going to try to get it on the
Well, they should do
county
that.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So I have not looked though, Gary. So
I have
Send it
not.
to Miranda and we'll get it on.
yeah, because yeah. So well then I will ask Miranda about that
Okay.
then.
All right. I think the more we get it out there and the more we really encourage people, better chances we have of getting people to come in, because
Do we?
people I talk to, and I go up, well, like waitresses and stuff, I ask them right out and say, what do you like about your government, what don't you? Huh?
Yeah. Which is
I said,
I had people come up to me and tell me what they like about me.
Well, yeah, I wish they would, but,
Does
people say,
Phillipsburg have a
"You mean we
website?"
have a choice?" I said,
Does the town of Phillipsburg have a website? I don't know. Probably. I would think so.
They do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. They do.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can reach out to them and put it on there since they're part of the county.
Sure. Yep. About. Okay. New business. The only new business that I would like to talk about is having, because Mayor Reddish came to me about wanting to have their review board and this review board get together and have Dan Clark come over and do a synopsis with it. And so I think I was kind of letting them take the, to ask
Sure.
Dan how much that would be. And I mean, obviously we put it in our budget for training and stuff, but I'll probably give him a call and.
Well, let me just throw out this one comment. I really, truly would like to have those guys come to our meetings, and I'd like one of us or me to go to theirs, because I really think there's a lot that we can do with the city of Phillipsburg and the county. I'm just about ready to go down and see the people in Anaconda and that group down there. I know they've been running as independents for a long time, but they've done very little with it. And I'm thinking, from what I've read in your comments from the Phillipsburg people, they have some real ideas about doing similar things.
Oh, sure. You mean like consolidation and stuff?
And before we actually ask Dan to come in, why don't we get the committee together maybe a couple times and say, where are you now that you've had time to study the various forms of government?
I don't think they're as far ahead as we are, Gary.
Well, they sounded like it in the news from the paper.
Yeah, I haven't. Nobody's contacted me to say, hey, let's get together.
No contacts, but I'm just reading the paper.
Yeah.
I'm reading in the back of my mind, well, if they're willing to say this kind of thing out loud, maybe we should have a meeting and maybe we can get some
Who
consensus.
is the chair of the Peaburg?
Who is that?
I believe it's Marty.
I'm not good
Marty?
at names.
Yeah, he was the one who led the last meeting.
Okay, what's his last name?
Ludeman.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, I think what you're referring to is that they kind of came into it with like preemptive ideas. Like they all kind of agreed that they want to make the council smaller, and they communicated that at their first meeting, but that's been their only meeting so far.
Yeah.
Well, the biggest thing that perked my ears was they said, oh yeah, we really want to be self-governing. And I thought, so do I. Because I think if there's any real hope, that's the only way we're going to see it. And it doesn't matter what issue you talk about. That's why I gave you the constitutions. Read the constitutions and read them very carefully. And look at what the state can do and can't do.
Well, and I think that's where we need to have Dan come
Okay.
and talk to us about what this is. Yes, the state constitution, whatnot, but we still have to go by MCA law.
No, we do not. Let me get that point across to you. The legislature in the Constitution is empowered to make laws, but the people have the ability to accept or reject those laws.
Well, I guess we're going to just have difference of opinion on that, and that's why we have somebody come in that works in this
That's
stuff
fine,
every
but-
day.
Yep, that's
and
So I was just going to say, I think that notion of the study commissions coming in with preconceived ideas is incorrect. I think the study commission is supposed to go out there like you're doing and fact find and then make the decision. They can have. I think individuals can have their own personal opinions, but as far as which could be expressed in public comments, but as far as having an agenda to push, I wouldn't do that. I would. You're going to the people first, getting their thoughts, and then taking that, and then going forward with recommendations.
Don't take my comments out of context. The primary thing I'm looking for is to get the voters to vote for what they want.
exactly.
But they need to understand what is available.
And
that's why
they do, but we are here to research and make recommendation. I don't even know if that's the right word, but to say, hey, we've studied all this and this could be an option, or this could be an option, or this could be an option. And so before we do that at the end of a 2-year cycle, I mean, we have a lot of legwork to do, within that.
We do, but we also have to be able to present to the people reality. And that's why when we get into the Constitution, I don't care if it's Montana or United States. United States, we've given up just about all our rights. We've given it up to the legislature, to political parties, whatever. Montana goes even further. When you really, truly read your Montana Constitution, it's not the legislature that makes laws and everybody has to follow. It's the people who accept those laws or don't accept those laws.
So how to proceed? So I understand what you're saying. So as a group, what are our goals? Do we go, as far as steps, do we go to the commissioners and the employees first, get their feedback, put up boxes, get the community's feedback at the same time, kind of, get them, and then the next step would be to have some kind of an open house, I don't know the technical word.
Well, that's the public.
To invite the public.
Sure.
And then maybe that time would be an opportunity to have Dan or Ashley come when we have the public here, and then they can go kind of over what they went through with us in training. And
yeah.
show the people what the different types of governments are and what their options
I guess
are.
for myself, I don't want to say, hey, we're going to jump into this with Peaburg and say, and Peaburg's going, or we're looking to whatever they do with their government side of it, and we're saying, well, we think it should be consolidated. I don't know
I don't
that.
think we should
Well,
guide the
I
people
don't
in that
think
respect.
that
We
would-
should
No.
show them the facts only and
Yeah.
let them guide
Yeah.
themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's the process because, yeah, you guys, I agree with the people are sovereign. And they're going to vote on this. But the underlying process is fact find, not guiding that, then narrowing that down to what's being discussed and promoted by the people, and then doing your recommendations, and then the report and and so forth. So then the people will vote.
So we all
And it
agree
could
with
be
that.
no recommendations. That's been done before.
Absolutely. That there can be no recommendations at the end of the 2 years, but I think we have to get the input from the public.
So, can we do the questionnaires to the commissioners and the employees at the same time we're getting the information in the boxes from the people?
I don't see why not.
If we have that ready for April's discussion, then we should be able to put those boxes in place.
Sure, yeah.
Between April and May.
Yeah.
And then between April and May, also make appointments to come and interview.
Yeah, I mean,
So we
I
have
think
steps.
there's no reason why we can't go in April to the commissioners
Okay.
and the employees, talk to them about, or put a box for the employees
That might be easier too.
here, so, because it's kind of hard to meet with them when they're all working and stuff, Yeah,
So I think the idea of having Mr. Clark come is very, very good idea. I think would be open to all the public and make sure that
Yeah.
everyone could come and he could show us the different possibilities. That'll be, he does it in such layman's terms that it makes it
That-
really understanding, and you
It
get
is.
a better idea than someone trying to push their views and ideas
Right.
into something.
I
Yeah.
think that's the whole point of
It
having
is.
them come is to present to the public, not to
Yeah.
us.
Not-
We've already been through
Yeah.
the training,
Yeah.
so
Right.
to
Yeah.
them, so they understand the process.
Yes.
Would that be more in the scope of the study commission or just open?
It would be-
local government.
I think we want to try to work with Peaburg to do it, for cost
And
effectiveness.
to have the most people to see.
To do it at the same time so that he could give okay, this is what's applicable for the county, this would be what's applicable for the town of
Okay,
Phillipsburg.
as far as options of different kinds of.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because really, even in the questionnaires, there's
That are
questions
specific.
from the county that we will put out or ask is totally different than what the towns are.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's kind of, I'm thinking then it's a timeline, right? We want to, so in April, we want to talk with the commissioners, correct?
Correct.
And then in May, we will, or do we want to put the boxes out with the questions
In April,
in April?
questions to communities.
That's probably going to have to be after our meeting, though.
Okay.
Because we're
We're gonna discuss it.
We need to
The
discuss
questions.
those questions. So probably the end of April, I would say, right? To
Yes.
talk to the commissioners and
Yeah.
get the stuff out to the public.
Yes.
And then May,
Invite
Have Dan-
depending on their schedule, May, June, depending on the
Yeah.
Institute.
I'd give him lots of notice.
He is really busy,
Okay.
yeah.
He's going to require notice because I can't even get a
So
hold of him.
depending on their schedule, May or June.
May or June for Dan or Ashley to
For-
come over.
A public information.
Public
meeting.
information meeting, yeah. Public meeting, yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. And then,
And I think when we bring him over, we should structure that meeting in terms of what we want to get out of it. Because he can stand there and talk for 2 hours and be going around in circles.
I would
But it's
think,
what we need to know.
I would think that he will structure it the way
As
the
an educational,
training.
just like we have.
Yeah, like we
That
have.
gives them the time to be able to present to the people all the different options.
Right.
We can't structure it guiding the people.
No.
Or sometimes it gets distracted if he allows a lot of public comment and gets out and it's got to.
It goes too long.
Yeah, I got to stick to the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, that was a full day that we all
Right.
took.
Well-
And it could have lasted longer. I mean, there was still a lot
So,
of,
depending on how much time we have,
right.
maybe there's a time limit or save questions till the end or.
So I would ask this then, board, do you want me to talk to Mr. Marty? Or do you want me to get hold of Dan and see when he can do it?
You might get a hold of Dan and then see when he's available and then talk to Marty and see. if
Dan
that works
first and then go?
For them to do
Okay.
it in combination to save funds.
Okay. When he can come and how
I
much?
think we all agree that we really need Phillipsburg and us together.
Well, there's no sense in not communicating
isn't.
with them.
There isn't.
But we are two kind of separate,
That would be the only thing.
Things.
Well,
If
you see-
if it's on a time limit
yeah.
and it's specifically different for each,
Well, because I don't know if Phillipsburg, and maybe you guys do, I don't know, has Phillipsburg done their timeline? Are they thinking they're doing the full 2 years, or are they just going to try to do it quickly? I don't know any of that. So those would be the
so
questions.
between now and April, we'll get those questions. So you're going to reach
Yeah.
out to both
Yeah,
Danny and Marty?
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Well, hopefully by then I'll have the website up because one of the things I'm doing with the website is I'm approaching it like I was teaching what's available. And you can pick and choose, but here's the structure. And in the process of teaching that way, you come across a lot of ideas that really aren't quite right, you can say. Like for instance, and I do, just about everybody I meet, I say, what's got more influence, or what do you have to listen to more, the Constitution or the state law? And 9 times out of 10 they say the state law. And then I give them the case from the Supreme Court of Montana that says no.
But everybody's going to have a different opinion of that. You and I differ on
Well,
those opinions because
But-
I don't think
but
the same
more
way.
we know about it, the more
Sure,
we're likely
yeah.
to form an opinion that is more reasonable.
Sure, it could be, but I'm not there. I am not on this board to try to make somebody believe as I
Neither
do.
am I.
But
Neither am I.
what is the scope of the local government review? That's where I keep wanting to go back to.
Right.
We just have to keep following this.
Well, let's define local government. Let's just do that for fun tonight. What is local government?
The people.
No. Get down to the roots of it. How does the town of Phillipsburg relate to the county of Granite in terms of local government?
They
Two
are.
separate entities.
They
They're
are.
completely,
Yeah,
they
aren't.
they function.
They are because the town of Phillipsburg is a municipality,
Well,
and this
only
is
because now both entities are being led by the state. when you get right down to it, you take Silver Bow and you take, what is it, Butte, Anaconda.
The three.
They're merged together.
Right.
They don't function like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they.
But that's what we're
And
offering to
so-
people, isn't it?
But here's my point. I ask you the basic question. What is local government? Local government can be comprised of municipalities, cities, counties.
So in Drummond, the local government helps oversee the lighting, the roads, the sewer. That's our, in this law enforcement, that's the structure of the local government, is to meet those needs of
All
the
right.
people.
Now, if you bring the county into it,
Then they have further
then there's
responsibilities
other responsibilities for them to
to meet.
concede to
Yeah.
the county.
Right.
Because the county really has overall responsibility, and the state has overall responsibility of the counties. But when you read your Constitution, and I hope you read those little books, you'll find out very quickly that the state is very limited. The only reason the state is functioning the way it's functioning today is because when all of this was done through the 1973 new Constitution, most municipalities, most counties decided to, okay, we'll let the state do it because it's too much trouble for us to come up with our own laws and bylaws,
But-
Constitution.
You're right, but, you know, to look at the tier level of government.
Right.
But are we going beyond the scope of this review? That's what
Not
I'm concerned.
really, because this review, as far as
Go ahead.
I can tell, now I've read this thing all the way through, I've got it all the way here. When I look at it, what I got from Dan when I was over in Bozeman was you really ought to start considering being, number one, self-governing. Okay, what does that mean? That means that you're no longer being told by the state to do X, Y.
And I'm going to
That's
disagree
right.
with you
That's
because
right.
we have to do some things with the state as
Some
a
things.
right, but how those differ, that's not what this is.
No.
That's not what the study commission
I
is.
disagree. I have gone, and I spend a lot of time on Westlaw looking at constitutional issues because of this committee. And that's based on what's in these materials.
Now, see, the stuff I got from when we had our training and whatnot was more about talking about the municipalities being charter versus non-charter.
Well, that's a small part of self-governing.
Well, and we're going to have difference of opinions
Would it be
about that.
wise to have Dan come and speak to us before he
Be
comes
fine.
and speaks to the people? I mean,
Yeah.
is it worth that investment of $105 to make sure we understand what we're
Or
doing?
a conference call.
Well,
Or
we
a
could,
conference call.
but we kind of already did that.
We
We've
did,
already
but I
done it,
think we
yeah.
have misunderstanding again within the board.
One thing I think you're right on the, like the, making the teaching aspect of having people understand it, but that's just the basics of it. Then you got, I mean, I don't think you can just stay in that mode. It's got to be giving that information out, but then moving on to the substantive issues. Because
That's
the
not up to
philosophical
us.
issues aren't the substantive issues.
It's not up to us to tell people, you know, after all this, we have this great hat and we can tell you that this is the best way to go.
I'm not saying that, but getting into all the information on I guess I'm saying philosophical kind of what is government. I think you gotta, get beyond that. That's the basics of it, but then get to the substance of what do you as a people want, not
Well,
you know,
exactly.
not directing that. But
Now I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Now
So
I agree
that's-
with you.
all right.
So-
But when you say what do the people want, what is that based on? Is that based on fact or is that based on misconception?
Well, that's how I have a Dan
That's
Clark.
will be
so-
based on the
Yeah.
training of them coming here.
Right.
for
Yeah,
the people.
absolutely.
You know, my meeting in Bozeman, it was unbelievable. We had 3 attorneys that were part of the local government study. We had people who had done this 2, 3, 4 times. most of the people in there were saying, we want to have more control over our local government. And Dan was saying, well, here's the way to do it.
Well, that will be that
You-
time where it's training, and that will be the time to allow them to present that to the people. That's the opportunity for them to learn.
Okay.
So
Absolutely,
I still
because
think
as we can show tonight,
we have no people. Well, we have people,
I
sorry.
mean, right, but
We had people.
yeah,
Newspaper, but there's, you may want to like record, if you'd like, record his presentation, so you can have.
You know, I'm
post that or all
thinking
on
of
your
that,
website.
and I was going to bring that up because I'd really like to put that on the website.
sure.
That's a wonderful
And,
idea.
and that way, people can listen to us, and they can say, well, you know, okay, this guy presents a good thing, and maybe I go along with what he says. Or she presents something, and maybe I should go along with her. But you're never going to get to that until they understand and hear us say, gee, we're not really sure of what we're doing here.
And how much education have we already taken?
Well,
And they're going to have a small
and
amount of time.
how much more are each one of us doing to understand what we learned? And that's why I keep hammering on this business about the Constitution. I don't care if it's United States or Montana. The Constitution, according to Supreme Court, United States and Montana, is the supreme law. Period.
Okay, but
Period.
we have this scope, and I thought that's what we're supposed to be doing.
This is a guide.
It is a guide.
It is a guide, but
this
that's
is
what
where
we were
start.
elected for.
This
And
is where we start.
That's where I start too.
So the next step is the interviews and the boxes
Right.
and bringing in the educators for a public gathering for the educators to teach the people and for them to be informed of what their choices
And
are.
maybe before we do all that, we're gonna put the tapes on the website and people can hear
Right.
what we're thinking about.
But I don't.
And what we're
I
disagreeing
don't.
about.
Well, but I don't.
Are you referring to the meeting minute tape? Or are you
No,
referring
no,
to the
I'm
training
just-
tapes?
No, not the training tapes, because those, I'm sure, are copyrighted.
Can you please expand so I don't understand
Yeah.
which
Well,
you're referring to?
I'm saying that if we were to tape these meetings,
Which we are,
okay, and an issue came up, like what we're talking about,
right?
okay, now I ask you, what is local government?
Meeting the needs of the people's
And
basic
you have one idea,
infrastructure.
I have an idea, I'm sure there's other ideas out here. And how do those things interact? And all of a sudden, somebody listening to this tape may say,
But Gary, here's the thing: the public has the ability to come up here and listen to it. I think Luke said that he was putting it on their website for people to listen to that. To listen to our meetings. I mean, we can only do so much to try to get these people to pay attention to
I
us.
don't disagree with that, but all I'm saying is, if we make available,
Can we confirm
The
that?
problems
Is
we're
Phillipsburg Mill
discussing.
putting the minutes
you're
on
more
their,
likely to influence
the recorded minutes?
somebody out there.
Not currently posting recordings, no.
Okay,
Okay.
so
That's all I'm
now we
saying.
know that, okay.
You're saying
He
get
wants,
the word out so that the public has more opportunity.
Exactly.
so you want the recorded minutes on a website?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do you want the recorded minutes that we've had thus far to go on the Granite County website
I'd
until your
love to.
website is up?
I'd love to, because.
Is that what we're wanting?
Yep, just like the commissioners, if you go on their website,
Yeah,
they've
I've
got
done it.
pages. Every time they have a meeting, there's a page.
Is that something that the Granite County website can handle?
I think
The audio?
We bring it up to the commission, but I think it is.
Well,
What is, let's see, when's your next meeting, Lance?
Tuesday.
What's this week? I know I
So it's
can't,
the 25th. It's a,
So I think that agenda's pretty
yeah,
set.
because I think it's, so the first one would be April 1st would be the first
Not April 1st.
that I could come and ask the commissioners and/or Miranda, can
What
we
day is April
put
1st?
Tuesday.
a Tuesday? Yeah.
Or just to call them Miranda and I can talk to her as well.
Okay.
Just to
I mean,
request
do I need to publicly come up and request that we can also put the recordings on the website?
I don't think you have to publicly. I think
Okay.
that,
They've
I think,
established.
I was thinking that they have a spot for you on the website right now. where you
It's,
can-
yeah, I don't think it's, because I haven't seen the stuff that I've taken down to the clerk and recorder. I haven't
Isn't it- it
seen,
is-
I haven't seen it on there.
Okay, so here's one thing that the website isn't very user-friendly and hasn't been, but
Yeah.
this isn't gonna help us at this point. But we decided to go with a better website that's a government website. And like it has 33 counties in Montana, and so we decided to go with this vendor for a new website. But that's gonna take
Sometime.
some
Yeah.
time to get it.
I would get it to Miranda.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think there is supposed to be a spot on there.
See, what I understood was that Sarah was supposed to be your go-to.
Well,
Well,
yeah, I don't know that, I think there was some misunderstanding with it. Gary didn't get notified that we didn't have a meeting last month. And so what we had talked about before was, so we are not quorum, we're not having a quorum, we email to Sarah, the clerk and recorder, at this website that we set up, or this email that we set up, and then she blind copies the other ones. And I don't think that got done.
Well, I came up to the meeting,
So you didn't get notified either.
so I guess you.
I sent her a text. She didn't get my text.
Oh,
may I make a motion? Make a motion that we, amongst ourselves, define who in the county commissioners we need to speak to and on what basis.
she's our ex
No,
officio.
I don't just want, nothing against you. I want to know who we need to contact when we have an issue like this, where we want to put something up and we're saying, gee, who do we contact? Or how do we do it? Let's get our group together. And I know that most of you know 10 times more than I do about county commissioners. But put your input in here and let's make a list. What person we should contact, and is that person really going to be receptive to what we're
Well, I
doing?
thought we already did that by saying that it was
We may
Sarah.
have done it, but let me tell you one thing that happened. When that gal contacted me or emailed me during the last meeting, it was the day of the meeting. I had no idea that you guys were ill. And I was ready to come over and come to the meeting. All of a sudden I get this email and she says, well, you know, the meeting's canceled, because she had emailed me earlier in the day and was complaining about she wanted more access, blah, blah, blah. So I went on website, Westlaw, and I pulled off about 4 cases from Montana, and I was ready to bring those in and talk to her about what open meetings really mean according to the law. Well, we didn't have a meeting. And so then I called Sarah the next day, and I said, Sarah, I would like to have a personal meeting with you because I really want to ask you some questions about how to negotiate who and what and where we interact with the commissioners.
So would that be before the commission then
That would be, yeah.
to find out who our actual person is that we need to communicate with and get
And I
results?
appreciate you being here.
Well, but that's why you have a commissioner as an ex officio. They take it
Yeah.
to the
Well,
commission.
I think there's a couple things there. I mean, yeah, if you guys are formal things you're wanting to get discussed, that's Blanche here. But if you're wanting a email notice sent, I think that's a separate issue altogether. I think, and then sending information to get on the website is a different issue.
Okay,
I think.
so
And
it's three
I
different
think
things.
that'd be Miranda.
Actually, we looked at it and it said the clerk, and that would be the clerk and recorder, and I thought we discussed that we.
That's-
And it was,
Right,
we
that's what-
discussed
Maybe our
this and it
go-to
was
person.
Sarah.
Yeah.
So how do we get,
Then we need to
The
have
results
a
that we need.
meeting, and maybe it's more than just me. Maybe we should all go to the meeting and say, Sarah, here's what we understand your function to be and our relationship to you. What do you understand?
Where did, I need to look at this, you thinking there's a statute that says that?
Yeah, it said the clerk will be,
it was in the training.
Yeah, it's
It
the
was.
training.
Well, what did it
wasn't-
say, the clerk and recorder or the clerk of the?
Well, that's why we
the
need to
clerk
take,
would be the clerk and recorder, because the clerk,
Not necessarily.
No.
I need to look at that
Let me
statute.
see. Oh, boy, I may have it in.
so what if you didn't have a clerk for your commissioner, then what? The clerk and recorder is the
So
clerk for the commissioner.
I think potentially some of these study commissions have their own paid clerk. So I don't know that it's necessarily, the statute means the clerk and recorder.
Because that's why we had that discussion before, and for whatever reason, we came up with that it was Sarah.
It was when we were in. the
Oh, it was
training
when we were
class.
in the training.
Yeah.
That's right,
Notes.
yeah. Let's see.
Whitefish.
Definition of
I
officer.
remember reading it somewhere, and it
I-
said clerk.
Yeah.
I think
Well, then you said
Okay,
yourself
here we go. This might
that you
be,
felt that you wanted an elected official to be the go-to person.
So-
The clerk and recorder is.
oath of office,
But when I
municipal
called her up
officers.
and I said, let's have a meeting, or I didn't call her, I emailed her, and I never got a response, and I thought,
Okay.
But saying let's have a meeting, that would be the chair.
no,
So,
she and I.
Oh,
I
oh,
just-
to meet with her.
I want to
Elected
find
appointed
out
officers be included
what my
in-
role is in relation to her. I just think,
Well, I think your relation to her, you're part of the study commission board, and the chairman would be the go-to to our clerk.
I'm going to say a couple things, and I don't mean to ruffle any feathers or offend anyone. That's not what I learned out of my study groups. What I learned, number one, this local board is an independent board. It does work through the commissioners, but we have no obligation to do what the commissioners want. We're here
Yeah, no,
to get to the
that,
people.
but she's talking about the orderly fashion that potentially not everyone can run to Sarah, that you gotta go through your chair.
Right. But here's the other thing. I also get, out of all these studies, you have 3 commissioners. You guys have made it a hard and fast rule that we can't contact one another, we can't talk to one another, we can't do anything outside the meeting. Well, guess what?
that's because that's a quorum.
Well, that may be a quorum, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're doing business.
Well,
When
I
we
know
talk
that
about
Dan and Ashley will 100%
Well,
disagree with you on
then
that.
good, because I've got materials that will disagree with that. I hope they do. But what I'm saying is, we have 3 people that are commissioners. It's my understanding that we are to work together toward, first of all, educating the voters. Secondly, to learn what our local government really truly is. And that's why I'm saying, when you call somebody up in the local government, or you email them, and you say, I'd like to have a meeting with you, and you hear nothing back, that destroys the commission and the commissioners.
Well, we're just going to disagree on that
Well,
because
we will.
I think you're the start, you gotta have, I mean, government's imperfect, I mean, little patience to get it started, and then we'll
Of
get,
course it's imperfect.
and then we'll figure it out.
But how do we improve it?
Yeah.
well, the hardest thing is too, because Robin and I work together on a daily basis.
that's a problem.
And that's
That is a problem.
No, in your mind, that's a
No,
problem.
Not only in my mind.
Well, that's your
Listen,
opinion, Gary, but here's the
I'm
deal.
going to tell you something.
But
Gail.
Gary, listen, I was talking, let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's the thing with it. That's why I said we have a person to go to, because of our working relationship outside of this elected board.
Well,
May I read this, the
go right
training?
ahead.
Okay. Conducting study commission business. She may have experience doing board or committee work. Perhaps you've served on the board of your HOA, blah, along with so specific legal requirements you must follow when conducting meetings, 7.3, 181, 182 MCA. Here's what you need to know. The chair will decide the date, time, place of your regular meeting. Meeting is needed addition to regular meeting schedule, monthly meetings. The chair or two more commissioners can call a special meeting. Chair will announce the time and place. Meeting announcements should be publicized well before the meeting. Check with your municipal clerk or county clerk and recorder for proper meeting notice procedures in your area. Your study commission will set, publicize, and follow regular study meetings. When planning the schedule of these meetings, remember that times, locations need to be meet the needs of the study commission and accommodate public access participation. 23103 MCA. Your study commission must keep written record. So to me, I just heard we go to the clerk and recorder in there. Did anyone else hear that?
Yeah.
So I read that would be Sarah Graham.
What you just read to us are the mechanisms by which these meetings should operate.
Right, and you're wondering
It
that we didn't.
says nothing about what we as commissioners are to do intrapersonally.
Okay,
in
but
terms
your
of-
concern a moment ago was not getting proper notification that a meeting was canceled,
That was
correct?
number one.
Okay,
Yep.
so the answer to number one would be Sarah Graham, as far as I read it. Do you agree?
Well, as far as you read it, yes, but now I'm going to Sarah Graham, and I'm going to take that to her and say, look, Sarah, is this what you're comfortable with?
It's on page 11.
Okay, I got it, I remember.
But I would encourage you to do that through the chair. I don't think it's proper to do that individually.
Well, now there I'm going to disagree again.
No, I'm giving you that legal opinion.
Well-
You gotta do that.
All right, but I'm still disagreeing with you
Okay,
because
but-
based on the case law that I've read,
All right, but you may,
regarding open meetings,
you may disagree with me, but you gotta follow that one.
well,
Okay?
okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
Okay,
go
so-
go through your chair.
So we'll go,
So this is so with Sarah, she is going to be the person that the meetings are going to be, when the meetings are and what.
Has someone actually discussed this? with her?
Absolutely, I have.
Okay, all right, so
Yeah.
she knows, and I think she does know, because I know she was telling Miranda she had to do it, and then we did the further research, and it said, no, the county clerk and recorder to do it.
Well, right. The only thing Miranda is doing is
For the commission.
posting
Yeah.
the actual meeting when she posts your guys' hard copy meetings and putting it on the website. So everything really, from what that says, come to the chair takes it to Sarah about whatever meetings, however that is. What we take to Miranda, I sent her also the agenda so she can physically post it on the website and around town and those places. Correct? Is that's
how
what
I-
we had decided from the
That's how
very
we-
get-go.
that's
So
what we thought.
if we are not having or if there's some communication breakdown with Sarah, then I will go back and say, hey, Sarah, we got to make sure that we get this stuff out in a timely manner. If the meeting is canceled, because I believe I canceled that meeting 2 days before.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yeah. And there could be a snafu with it, there could have been whatever with Sarah, there could have been a snafu with that, because none of us are perfect. And so we have to make it better. But per the MCA code, that's what we have to go about. And I'm not saying, it's not, Gary, it's not to keep you guys away from that or anything. You can still email the
website
or the email address, and she's going to be the one to get it. She's going to pass it on, blind copy it to the rest of us. And then, it's like Elena emailed the email, and I emailed back to the local government, and she sent it to Elena. Just so there's paper trail and whatever else, so.
Okay. Still doesn't answer the question I asked. Who are all the people that we need to work through, and to whom and what do they do?
That's what I'm
So
saying.
That's Sarah Graham.
Now, we got two people,
We got
and we
Miranda.
have two issues.
Right, so
Okay.
Miranda's for
All right.
postings.
What other issues do we have with the commissioners?
Oh, you have issues with the commissioners?
I don't know.
No,
Do we?
we don't, I don't know that we
As far
have
as if we have a
anything.
question to approach the commissioners, is that what you're wondering?
Well,
I guess I need
It's
clarification.
my understanding that this commission, was to work independently. Now, if that's not true, then I
Independently
need
of
to
each
see
other, or?
something telling me in the Constitution that that's not true.
Okay,
Because when I read the Constitution, it says every 10 years, the Constitution is to elect a group.
Yeah, we know all that. That's why we
You know what
read
it
it.
says.
Right.
And you also know that it says that these people are not supposed to be part of local government. Did you know that?
so I need
That
clarification.
who is not supposed to be part of local government?
The people on the commission.
They're not
You mean
supposed to
like
be-
myself?
Like
They're,
yourself
they're
and-
not
Oh, no.
supposed to be part of the local government that they are studying.
Well,
Right.
So
I looked at
she
that.
and I worked for the municipality of
Yeah.
Drummond, so we are not part of
And,
the
and
government.
we
of
checked
Granite
into that,
County.
I checked into that long before.
Well, I'm going to be checking more into it because as I read the law,
You gotta
That's
focus on the
not what
issues,
it's-
not the legal issues. You gotta focus
Well,
on getting the job done.
it
If you're
is-
gonna continue to just do this, then you're gonna be removed.
then remove me.
Well, you gotta
Start
focus
it
on,
right
you gotta,
now.
you gotta focus
No,
on working
no,
together,
no.
not
Now,
fighting.
you brought that
people.
up, and if that's what you want to do, you go right ahead, because I intend to operate off of what I've learned here and what the Constitution.
What they're doing is
says.
what they're doing is legal. That's it. I mean,
Look, I'm not questioning legality.
yeah, you were.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, you said it was
Yeah, you
illegal.
just said
I'm-
they can't be part of the commission.
No. I'm saying that commissioners are independent. That's what the Constitution says.
And
Now,
I
you can
agree
argue with me.
I agree with that, but,
Well, good.
but you're saying that there shouldn't be certain people on the commission?
No, I'm just saying what was in this booklet. I would have never brought it up, other than this discussion.
Okay, so
But
every-
it does say that people in local government are not supposed to be part of the commission.
No, we
They're
already,
not supposed to be
part of
studying the
their-
government. So if I worked for
Well,
Granite County,
I'm gonna look it up
okay,
and find it.
but can
Bring
I
it
give
in.
an example and then
Yeah.
you look it up and you let me know? If I worked for Granite County, then I cannot be a study commissioner for Granite County. If I worked for Drummond, I cannot be a study commissioner
For
for
Drummond.
Drummond.
Yeah,
If I
that's
worked for Peaburg, I
established
can't
law.
be a study commissioner for
For Peaburg.
Peaburg. But as a Drummond employee, I can be a study commissioner for Granite County,
Well-
as I do not work for Granite County.
I have no problem with that, but
Okay.
I'm saying, I'll go back through my notes, and I will bring it in, and I'll make sure everybody has a copy, and then I'm going to go to the Constitution, and then I'm going to go to the statutes,
well,
and let's see what
here's the
comes out of
thing,
it.
Gary. If that were the case, they would have never let me be
I have no problem with you two, none.
I know, but we're trying to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Where I'm
understand.
coming from is, I made the statement, our commission is formed of 3 people.
Correct.
Those 3 people are to have independent views in terms of what this book says, what the Constitution says,
Right.
and what the statutes say. And I thought what I heard from, you're Brad, right?
Blaine.
Or Blaine, I'm sorry. I meant to come see you anyway. But anyway, I thought you said that the individual commissioners cannot, on their own, go to see people on the commission, yourself,
No,
anyone involved in local
that's not what I was saying at all. I was saying that
Okay.
if you've got concerns that that are commission-wide concern and need to go through the chair, you can have your own independence. You'll have your own when you vote at the end. You'll have that, and so it's 100% my opinion, legal opinion, that everyone is legally on this commission, and then it'll go forward. And so
I don't have a problem. I just remember reading in there and it said local government. And that's why I asked earlier, what is local government?
So back to, Sarah is going to be, just to clarify again, the go-to for posting.
Miranda's postings.
Miranda does the,
Agenda postings.
she only posts the agenda, and will she be the one, is she the one that actually, like, say we want to do the recordings on the website? Is she going to be doing that, or would that be Sarah putting them on?
So I think Miranda, I don't know if she has, we have the commission recordings that go on and she posts that. I don't know. I'm just wondering if maybe the website people would have to set that up.
I think Miranda works with the website people to get that
Yeah.
done.
Okay, so,
And
Get the
so,
recordings on, yeah,
So
you would go
we're
through
going to
Miranda.
say she does post for
the agenda
website?
postings and the audio
Yes.
postings, correct?
Miranda does,
For its minutes and.
The minutes
yeah.
and the
Okay, but
agenda,
that's on the website.
yeah.
Okay.
so, but that, so she physically posts the agenda
Yes.
and on the website. She would be the one to put the recordings on the website.
Yeah.
What about any of this information that I am giving? I'm doing it at the clerk and recorder's office so people can come in and get a copy of it if they want, right? Isn't that Sarah?
That is.
Yeah.
Do both though. If you want it on the website, I would say.
So
Miranda.
anything pertaining to the website
Yeah.
postings, Miranda is the person.
That's what I would.
Okay.
That's what I would
Okay.
suggest.
And then any other posts between us,
Communications?
that communication?
Communications
That's
would
Sarah.
be through Sarah,
That's
the
Yes.
clerk and recorder.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Now, what's your questions about, Gary, about the commissioners? I'm sorry.
Nothing at this point.
Oh, okay.
At this point, nothing.
All right.
You know, the only, I think you answered the fact that we're all independent. Yes, we go through you for certain things, for scheduling and posting and that kind of thing. That's fine. But when it comes to me understanding what local governments are and how they may or may not perform, that's something I have to do on my own.
Well, if it's a legal opinion for the commission, it should go through the chair and come to me.
If it were a
Yeah.
and I'll
legal
research
opinion,
it.
it would go through you.
Yeah.
But what if it's not a legal opinion? Because what if it's something directly in the Montana Constitution?
It's still,
I
if it's a
can't
legal
go-
issue, it's still gotta come through the chair to me. Any type legal, even if it's the exact wording that, of the Constitution you have a question on, then it should come through me.
Well, I may be writing something to you then.
But it should come through, yeah,
It will
through
come
the chair.
through Gail, yes.
Okay. So we're clear with that,
So
correct?
legal opinions, legal questions all go through the chair.
That will
correct.
then go to the county attorney.
Chair and the county attorney.
Okay. Whew. All right, so that was under new business. Unfinished business, because because of the council meeting last, month, so our public meeting, I'm assuming, will now be April 17th at our next regularly scheduled meeting, correct?
So that would be public hearing number one?
Yes, it would be public hearing number 1.
Public hearing.
And
It's a public hearing then the 17th.
yes, public hearing within our meeting, because you can do both within the meeting.
Do
So.
you know whether Phillipsburg has already had their first public meeting?
I do not know
They were
that.
supposed to have had.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, I have not. I haven't. The only person I've talked to, Gary, would have been is the mayor, and he said they were going to get a hold of me. The chair was going to get a hold of me, and I hadn't
Because I was under the impression last meeting that they already had their hearing or were going to have it.
Yeah, I don't know that.
week.
Well, it would have had been published in the paper.
Okay, so I do have a question. So the first public hearing is to gather the citizen input on the form, functions, powers, and problems of the city government and adequacy of city services. So do we need to have those input from the boxes prior to this public hearing? So maybe this should not be done until May.
Right, then the first public hearing should not be done
And
until
then
May.
I would think that the public hearing is at the time we would want Dan here.
Boy, that's an off, well, maybe, but I just don't, ooh, I
You're
think,
wanting to take comment on it, so
So
that's a
because
lot in one.
That's a lot
if they're
in one.
asking form questions and things like that, do they already need a little understanding before?
right,
to
so they
address
need
those?
it, so maybe,
So maybe the public hearing should be in June, so they can
probably.
be educated first.
Well, it gives us time to be able to educate
Yeah.
with it, so, yeah, it would
Now,
be,
let me ask you this question. I'm pretty close to getting the website up, and one of the things I'm going to address first with the website is what was in these materials. What are the forms and powers and operations?
So you'll have your website
We
up.
should have that up. But should we not structure our questions to the public around that area so that we have some consensus? Reason being is most people are not going to spend 6 weeks going through.
no, that's why they provided those questions for our,
For the boxes.
yeah, it's a template, for it, so,
But maybe should that be our foray as far as
So
trying
that's
to get
what we're
Yes.
planning on for April?
Right.
Yeah.
To set up the boxes.
Set up the boxes.
And have the questionnaires.
For that.
Yeah.
And then they'll have an idea what we're talking about. And they
Right.
can go research. If your website's up, they can look there. They can go to local government
and
services.
then hopefully in May, local government can come over, give
Training.
training, and then June, we have the public hearing so that people can ask their questions.
I agree.
Okay. All right, so that will be June 17th, and the May, hopefully, we can get,
So,
or no, I lied, sorry, my bad. That will be June 19th. And so now I need to call Dan and see when it is
Be
that he could
available.
come.
so on getting this published, who is our go-to person to publish our legal notices then with the county?
So you'd go directly to the newspaper to Julie?
Yes.
Julie.
So-
Do we do that, or does
Or Sarah
clerk and
does it.
recorder? We didn't have that understanding.
I think it'd be you, if you need help with drafting it, I'll help with it.
Okay.
But then I think you should.
So
you
the
should give
the
it to
study
the
commission
newspaper.
will do the legal postings,
Yeah.
correct?
Okay.
Just so we have clarification on that.
Do they give you templates on the?
They do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Work.
So do we want to get this timeline then within the next, let's see, today's, so we'd have to do it by next Thursday to be in the following paper.
Right. So timetable established and published within 90 days of organizational
So
meetings.
we
So,
didn't have that established who was responsible.
so timetable established and published. So,
So we need to have it to them because it's already cut off time. So we need
Right.
to have it to them by March 27th for the following week's publication, which would be April 3rd.
okay, March. Oh, so April 3rd, right?
Right, would be the published number one.
April.
And I don't recall off the top of my head if this was two publications.
Yeah,
or
it should
just-
be two.
Thank you.
And then the first public hearing, we have established that as in June.
June 19th.
correct?
Yes. So we will have first posting April 3rd, 2nd, the 10th.
April 3rd, what?
The first publication
And the
of the
10th?
timetable would be the 3rd of April and then the
Yes.
10th of April.
Okay, and the deadlines for those are going to be March 27th, correct?
Yes.
So
The week
that's next
prior.
week. Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Okay,
because it needs to
so-
get out, so.
To the paper and March 27th and April 3rd.
So it'll be to the paper on March 27th. It will be publicized in the paper on the 3rd and
And the
10th
10th.
of April.
Yeah. Paper.
And then
to
for the
be
June 19th hearing,
posted 3rd and the 10th.
so for the June 19th hearing, it needs to be to the paper by May 29th for a June 5th and June 12th posting, publication.
Public hearing. Posting for, what was the June dates?
So for the June 19th hearing,
19th,
it has
yeah.
to be to the paper by May 29th.
Yep.
For posting, publication in the paper, June 5th and June 12th.
June 5th, June 12th.
So we'll
Okay,
meet here in the courtroom.
I think so, yeah. And it'll have to be, in the evening. And it all depends on too, I mean, if there's hearings,
Yeah,
You know, we have
Where's
to-
our next meeting going to be? Isn't that when these hearings are supposed to be coming up?
I check with them regularly at the district court and they let me know
Okay.
about
Did you
it.
say April 17th is your next meeting? Or-
April 17th will be the next meeting, yeah.
Oh, okay, you weren't asking about that.
Yeah,
And that'll be here.
right.
Okay.
And are we keeping it the same time? You had talked about
House
you wanting to go
later.
later.
I'd rather go a little bit later.
Okay, and so what
What
time
time?
would that be?
7 maybe?
Okay. Which is better for in here because then court's usually out
So-
most of the time.
Are you going to need that time for the rest of the summer or so we can just
Well,
have it planned out a
I'm
little bit?
hoping to get a house before the rest of the summer, but
Okay, so for right now, it's going
For
to
the
be
time being, we'll
For
continue
time
on the
being.
7 p.m.,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So 7 on the April 17th.
Yes. Okay. There's
now,
a-
could I ask one more question? Okay. You had mentioned that you had had some contact with this lady, Elena. Mm-hmm. I remember her emailing me right after the election, and I never emailed back. But then she's had several emails come through since. What is going on with this lady? What do I need to know?
We can't discuss.
I
it,
don't,
believe.
alls I know, I can read you and I thought, there again, I'll have to have a talk with Sarah because I would, to say, hey, if Elena is email, I guess then maybe when I email back to the review, the study commission, then maybe I blind copy
So you see
that to you guys, or I think Sarah would have to be
She
blind
has to blind
copying.
copy.
So anything with that, then Sarah would be blind copying. I mean, that's why they want it to go through one person, so then she can blind copy the other people on the board.
So what you're saying is, Elena wants a question, she'd go through Sarah and Sarah would get it to the,
Gets it to
Well,
me.
then why did, I think you answered her the first time, and I answered her somewhat the second.
Yeah, because we didn't know what the hell we were doing, Gary.
Well, yeah, but I've got a website going up, and my email will be on the website, and they're more than free to
Sure.
email me anyway.
Which we can't, I mean, there's no way to
I mean, I just think, from what I've read on open meeting laws, we're maybe going a little bit too strict on it. Because if we as commissioners can't discuss an individual who has problems basically with us, how's it get resolved?
At a meeting.
So I was under the impression you can't single out a citizen during a meeting. Is that correct or incorrect?
No, I mean, I think you could, I think his question's legitimate in that she wants to be a check on government and
Yeah.
has lots of questions.
Right.
The issue to me is can you act individually versus collective? That's your question.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
there recently, Blanche did an article in the newspaper, a response in the newspaper. They asked her directly for that, but she wasn't speaking for the commission.
Right.
But I think the issue when she's sending those emails, I think she's wanting generally wanting the commission's response.
Well, I
If it's,
don't know that she really wanted a response. She just made several accusations
Yeah.
that we are not following the Constitution and we are not following open meeting laws.
I would
didn't
I
see
would
that.
refer that to the chair, and then she can ask me to respond to Elena if she wants.
Okay.
Then because that is that.
Because that's going to be
That'd
an
a legal
ongoing.
question.
Because the only thing I said to her was, come to the meeting,
Absolutely.
speak to us there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So again, it's a legal question.
Sure.
Then
And
if
it's
we're
a
not
legal
following
question,
code or.
Then we
send
And
it to the.
a lot of her questions will be, it's about process and legality. And I don't think you should have to worry about that. It should,
Yeah.
Elena has her own opinion, and, not to be derogatory or anything,
Yeah,
but.
I'm not taking any of
Okay.
this as.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that
assessment.
Elena has her opinion, and she's the only one that knows what's correct and incorrect.
Well, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I got that.
Can I say something like that, or is that?
Discussion,
it's
well,
your opinion.
it's your opinion, and it
Right.
might be my opinion, and
Yeah.
she doesn't
I
really
mean,
wanna.
I think we just stick with the same stuff that everybody does, that when there are questions, legal questions, then we
Reference
take it
to legal
to Blaine, and then Blaine will
Sure,
answer her.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
I-
but if you felt that some of her questions or some of her accusations were legitimate,
I
then for
did.
sure,
I
then
did.
you would bring it.
And that's why I brought up what I did tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because she says, well, it's unconstitutional, okay? I'm pretty
What's unconstitutional?
significant on what a constitution is.
What's
But what-
unconstitutional?
what-
Our meeting
The
here?
way our meetings are being structured and the times held and so on.
Oh,
I spent 2 years after I retired from medicine and surgery becoming an advanced certificate paralegal. I know how to research, and I do research through Westlaw. So when she brought that to me, I went to Westlaw and I pulled out the best 4 cases I could find. And I thought, if she comes to the meeting, I'm just going to say here.
yeah. I mean,
I'd go through the chair and let me respond to that, but I mean, you're welcome to, you can't stop you from looking at the law. You're
Right,
welcome.
exactly.
But-
Oh, I hope
but
not.
Yeah.
Responding back to her because, from my perspective, there's a lot of misunderstandings that she
Right.
has.
And
Yes.
the only way I would respond to her or anyone else like that, come to the meeting and
Yeah.
voice your opinion.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Agree.
And yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I guess we've had a little bit more experience.
Sure.
Just
Well, I
because-
guess what irritated me more than anything else is when she said, you really need to be on Zoom, and I'm on the airport committee. It's the worst committee
don't
I've
have to
ever
be.
participated in.
We don't have to be on
It's
Zoom.
Zoom,
It's
and
not
the
required.
meetings are just Zooming.
Yeah, we don't have to do that, and we don't have the budget to do
No.
it, and I feel like it's not applicable. Come to a meeting.
It's the
Yes.
commission's decision. and, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Make
I mean,
every accommodation for you, but come to the meeting.
well, sure. I mean, if there's something that we're going to work with, but, yes. Anyway. Okay, I will get this posted, this study commission timetable then. I will take it down to Sarah to have, so there's a copy of it
Okay,
on record.
then we're gonna post it. I'm going to post it in the Phillipsburg Mail. Is that
Yes,
how it's gonna, okay.
yes, please. And so with that, then too, you know, then the bill comes
To Granite County.
to Granite County via the study commission to pull out of our budget.
Okay.
And is that the one where we're spending $100 for each notice, or do you know?
I don't know, we'll have to see what that is, but that's unfortunately
It'll,
what it
it'll
is.
be
Okay.
by the
Newspapers
amount
and the
of
money
words.
making sense.
Of course they are, but I thought maybe you'd have some tie with Phillipsburg and Commissioner. Nobody cut a deal
We're
yet.
discussing the cards for the boxes on the next meeting. Do we want to have the template ready in card form?
I think we need to, all of us go through these
And then we put the boxes up
discuss,
after?
these questions. I mean, because there's a bunch of questions. I don't know that we need to
Them on there.
have all of them on there. I think you bring your, well, there's 10 questions, so there's not that many. And then they have this, you know,
Scorecard.
Well,
so,
from a personal standpoint, I'm going to look at these questions as which questions pertain
to this,
to educating
yeah.
the voters so that they can come and understand what we're talking about. And if we can get that much accomplished,
So that's our goal next month.
that
Yes.
would be my
Then
personal.
we
This
can
will
make
be-
You guys,
the boxes.
Yeah, so
and
the
card ready.
review study commission questions will be on the agenda next month.
okay.
And the, are we having the same questions to take to the commissioners as we are to the public?
I think they were different.
Why not?
They are different, but, well, because like, here's question one of the, for the public. Circle one, in general, how responsive is your county government to your needs? Very responsive, not very, very unresponsive, no opinion. So we wouldn't ask that question of the commissioners.
Okay, and then I would add in there, please explain or please comment.
Sure.
I think that was question number 11.
It does have a place for comment.
Okay, it does.
It does, yeah. So, but, so these questions for the government, for the commission, what are the specific governing responsibilities of elected officials?
Okay.
I mean, so what I'm saying is, there's
What
only,
form of government you're
there's,
going to do.
right, there's only 10 questions to the public.
Right.
Do we do just 10 to the commission? Do we do 5? That's what I want you to bring next month.
Okay.
So we can review them.
Well, I guess from my standpoint, I would like to know what the commissioners really think about all this, because I listened to Dan Clark over in Bozeman, and there was, like I say, several attorneys in the room, and they were asking legal questions, and he was trying to answer them, but the answers weren't that good. And, you know, the bottom line is, if we were, let's just take this as a hypothetical. Let's say that we decide to be self-governing. What does that mean? According to this, we have got to get a charter. We have got to make up our own mini constitution. We have to stay within the guidelines of the state. All right? But what's that going to do to the current commissioners? And then
That's-
we have the opportunity of saying, okay, if we go that far, are we going to hire a professional to run our outfit, to do,
Well, I think those are the things that we put out to the public. Here is a form of, these are the forms of government that we can do.
that's good.
And then at the end of our review, that is when
We
we
make
either
our
make a recommendation.
or not.
We make a recommendation that the people think about going with this.
Okay. But you asked the question, what do we ask of the commissioners?
I just mean for the questions.
The questionnaires.
But don't we ask the same questions to the commissioners? How would they feel if we said, we're gonna be self-governing.
We don't know that, though.
Well, I'm just saying hypothetically. We say we're gonna be
So
self-governing.
here's what I would say right now. It's the vote of the people. That's what I would say.
No question it is. But let's assume, just for the argument, the people say, yeah, we'd like to be self-governing. Okay, what does that mean?
Well, I think we get that information out to them previous.
Well, yeah, but it means that we need a charter.
Right.
It means that we have 6 different ways
But
that we could
Is
operate.
that for the study commission to
think
decide and to do the charter and
it's
to
only to
decide this?
educate.
It is.
It's to educate. So right now, we need to hear from them, and that's what
That's right.
April is.
Yeah.
And May getting it out there
I
and
would-
training.
I would think the question of the commission would be more generic. I mean,
They-
how do you feel the current government's running? What can be done better?
There's
What-
12
if it-
questions.
Yes.
If it could be done better, what options do you
Right.
think can make it better? Real, I mean, stuff like that.
Real quick,
That's what
what are
those
the
questions
specific
are.
governing responsibilities of the elected
Yeah,
officials?
well,
They're very
those are good
basic
questions.
and general questions. It doesn't go to the next degree yet.
Not yet.
We need to hear their answers.
Right.
And then we get guided to what they're directing us.
Now there I have
It's still the people.
no, it's the people, you're right, it's not.
Here and everyone.
Well,
Right.
well,
To tell them, right.
but it is. It's so we get this. We bring this information back. This is what the commissioner said. This is what the public said, and then
And
we.
these are what's available.
And then we study that even more, and then we study what the government forms of government are, and then at the end of the 2 years, we either give a recommendation or we don't.
I agree with you, but I'm trying in my mind to put this in a manner
Right.
that we can get everybody's feelings. Commissioners are voters too.
Correct.
Okay.
And they will have the opportunity to
And-
answer the people questions
Well, then-
because they're part of the public.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But why should we ask them any different questions than we're asking?
Because they are a commission
We
and
would-
they
we
have
would
it set
ask-
up that way. But they can answer the questions.
Right. They have the option of filling out the same questionnaire that all of the public will have.
Yeah.
But these questions that we're asking the government is for us to have a better understanding of how they feel about the government they're working in.
So are you asking those questions
To the employees. Do you wanna look
commissioners
at
as a
it?
group or
Probably
individually?
individually, and we can even, if people do not
Or
want
as a
to
group.
put their name on it, we could put boxes and they could put them in the boxes.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't have to be threatening at all.
No, it's not. It's not to say,
And
know,
it shouldn't be threatening.
It's
Oh,
just to
no,
get
no,
an
it doesn't.
understanding.
yeah,
I'd
it's
say
not.
individually myself, if you're truly wanting.
I think you're going to get a better response if we put a box here so that it
Yeah.
is
Confidential.
and they don't
I think
feel
so
like.
too. And I would think maybe in order to get true answers,
Do you have an extra
don't
one?
even have
Yeah,
to
I'll
sign
I'll
it.
get you, you can have.
Oh, absolutely. Why have them sign it?
Don't
Yeah.
have them
Yeah,
indicate
just-
who they
Well,
are.
and here's the other thing we can do is we can pose those questions to the commission and give them either a couple of different ways. Give them the questions before so they have time to think about it, or give them the questions as whole and let the commission write back to us and say, and give the answers. I mean, we don't necessarily have to go in a meeting and put you guys on the spot that day.
I really don't think we should ever do that to anyone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be more just kind of an initial conversation.
Yeah,
and
right.
letting them.
So
Yeah.
how would this work? Would this have to be something that would be on the agenda and
No.
then we'd have to talk
So-
about it?
You
Same,
can list it as an
The
item.
questions?
Yeah.
so we're gonna be putting boxes, like he mentioned, Woodland Creations is open to having a box. Then we'll have cards with the basic questions that are on here that they can just fill out.
But she's
and
talking
fill-
about
I'm
to
not
the
talking about that.
commissioners.
I'm talking about,
Same idea.
Yeah.
Same idea. There could be a box here, so it's, nobody has to feel like, oh, this is my answer and I'm gonna get in
Then
trouble
Gail
or
would
whatever.
come
No.
talk to you, right? to
this is what
start
I'm
off.
saying. If it's on the agenda, if this would be on the agenda, is this something that would be on the agenda to discuss between the three commissioners.
I don't
and
think
they'd
so.
answer the questions as a public answer
No.
would soon, is what I.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it
individual
would.
We're not going to
Please.
give an answer, yeah.
I think it would be better if we sent that to you as a document for you guys to fill out, talk amongst yourself, however you want to do that, but not have me come to a commission meeting and say, okay, question number what? Do you know what I mean? To
But-
give you time.
That questionnaire is not just for the three commissioners. That is for the entire Granite County employees as well.
Oh, for
That's
all
why-
the- for
right,
all the elected
right.
officials.
Everybody.
No, it's for
It's for-
everyone. It's
This one
for-
here.
Yeah.
It's for the
It says it
housekeeper,
right on
whatever.
top- on the top
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
for all of the employees, along with the elected officials that work for Granite County.
So if you're gonna talk about it and discuss it, then it need to be an agenda item if you're gonna be working on it together. But if you're
But
working
these
on
are
it
just-
individually on your own time.
But maybe,
Individual answers. That's
but
what they
maybe
are.
we put the box up here just with those questions on it. Is that what you were saying,
Right,
Robin?
and then they have the
Got it.
opportunity, so this would be just in the bank or wherever that's allowed to have a box,
Mm-hmm.
and then they can, at their own discretion, fill it out, drop it in the
But
box.
she's talking about here.
Right, and then same idea, there's a
Yeah.
few questions, 10 or 12 questions on there, that the employees can just pick up the card at their own convenience, fill out their answer, drop it in the box, it can be anonymous answers,
Right.
and then,
But as far as the commissioner wouldn't be on.
no, you can answer them individually. It's not
But it
gonna
would be
be.
anonymous or what?
You can write your name on it, or you can leave it
Yeah.
anonymous. It's up to you.
I'd rather
It's
leave
just,
it anonymous.
it's just for
Yeah.
us to gain a perspective.
We don't, yeah, I mean, it's a guideline. We don't want to be putting anybody on the spot, but you guys are the ones that are working here
And then,
all the time.
After we receive whatever we receive, then we can have a meeting, put it on the agenda, and say, well, 5% did this, 20% did this.
Sure. Yeah,
It's just to gain an understanding.
Okay,
It
so
is.
this one for government officials and employees.
Yeah.
Right, so it would just be
here at the
This should be
courthouse.
here.
here that they can just put their
Wherever-
answers in a Dropbox or whatever. works
Wherever you
best.
think is the best place that,
Okay, I get it now.
And
Okay.
then-
The only thing I was thinking, okay, what you want these answers from the commissioners.
No,
no.
individually, yes,
Well-
if you would like to answer them. And it's not, you have to answer this, it's the person's.
That box will just be from the courthouse. It will, and we aren't gonna know if it's
We're not gonna know who
Blaine, or if it's gonna be custodian, or whoever, so,
Sounds good.
Okay. I get
okay?
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all
And then
right,
that'll give us the option to come back and discuss it.
Yep.
And help us to better understand what the needs are.
Okay, so I mean, the way you put it, okay, inform the county commission, elected county department heads or municipal exec, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Can
actually
inform
for
them, this is our
government
question.
officials and employees.
yeah,
Right.
yep,
But you're not centering on the commission.
Anything.
No,
answering these
no.
questions.
No,
nope,
just individuals.
yep. And then we will compile all the public and all the courthouse submissions and go from there. And somebody better at math than myself will do the
Good job, Gary.
percentages.
You've almost-
Yeah,
I don't mind doing the math.
okay. All right, so our next is there any other unfinished business?
I don't believe so.
Do you have anything, Gary?
Not that I know.
Okay, so the next meeting will be April 17th at 7. I need to redo that. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn?
Second the motion?
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
Did you want more of those copies, or you can just make
Well, I'm
copies?
just wondering, so you'll probably get a pile of them and then bring them in and hand them out to the offices?
Well, I
We
think
wanna
we're
just
gonna
put 'em on
try to put them on
cards.
a card.
Just something small and then drop it in the box.
Yeah.
Oh,
I-
okay.
Simple.
We
Not
don't
difficult.
want it to, because people can attach something with it if they
Sure,
want
they
to
can drop whatever they, I mean,
Yeah,
So what you're hoping for
Is answers.
a good turnout.
yeah.
yeah.
Thanks,
We
Lou.
just want enough answers so we have something to work with.
So we
Yeah.
can make an informed decision about.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
totally
county roads up there, and then there's Forest Service roads.
Non-threatening is probably not the right word, but that's how I took it. I
Well,
mean,
that's,
just
yeah, we don't want to put anybody on the spot.
no one on the spot, just,
A lot of clay there.
There's no reason for it, because
So,
we're just investigating.
we just want something to work with.
There's a
We
lot
just
of
want to
after
know
that,
what
that's
people's
Commissioner Allen.
feelings are, and they're very much more apt to do it
Without having to be one-on-one or
Charter is what? Charter is like Butte
So,
Silver Bowl
yeah.
and Anaconda Deer Lodge. Because the
That's a
county-
consolidation.
Oh, that's consolidation.
Yeah,
We're,
yeah.
Kids there, people are flying by.
and we're what? We're not charter, we're.
I don't think,
We're
I don't,
EOFC, elected official form.
Of government, yeah. so that's what, remember we talked about that last year, or
Yeah.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's that elected county official form. So a charter, and this is
A
always.
charter would be like a chief executive that would run,
No, that's a consolidation.
that's consolidation.
So a charter, like, the difference of a charter municipality and not, Drummond is not a charter. Phillipsburg, I do not believe is a charter. And so I think charters have more, oh, there it is.
So typical organizations of government, this is the one I learned it
Trying to get
last year.
a master agreement with the Forest Service. and
So
then
here's
we
commission
try to get
executive
a
form of
separate agreement
government.
to make sure
And then there's commission
they'll put some
manager
money
form of
in
government.
and county-
Commission form elected county officials form.
and-
So there's these
oh, I see,
graphs,
okay.
yeah.
And this is us,
And that
right?
meeting
Right.
Tuesday, Chuck Stokey.
Presiding officer, no, it's not.
You're
No.
Yeah, you're EF.
Oh, okay, we're CO,
Yeah.
ECO,
Yes, that's what you are.
we're E,
So the difference of a charter, that's where it gets confusing for
yeah,
me.
yeah, there's something,
There is.
because I know a commissioner told me, we're not charter with
You're
this,
not.
and you gotta understand with this, and then I forgot what it said.
Right,
There's too much.
and
going
so
on.
those are towns that are, let's see, what is, so, well, Hinesdale is a,
So here we go. What is contained in a charter? It's a written plan of government. It defines local government's power, structures, duties. And what they said in training is you can have a charter, you can change it to a charter. You can say, I'm gonna change it to a charter, but I want the form that we already have.
Yeah.
And it just gives you more power.
it does, that's what it, that's the whole thing. It gives you more,
Like a DC senator.
Do you want something like this to look over? I'll make you copies.
But,
Well, do we have this somewhere where someone can look at it? That's what I was gonna go look for.
this,
It's in our journal.
it's in, but I wonder if they,
You should have.
yeah, you can,
authorization to
you,
look in
you
it.
should have authorization to be able to look, because it was for this review board.
So did you go on the line to do the training?
No, I didn't, was I supposed to?
Well, you should have access to it, and then if you would just skip down from unit 1 to 6, and then at the end, there's
Seven Gables
documents.
is
Okay, so do you have the website? or-
Yeah, the dam
It's the
itself is
local
at-
government.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Should we send it to Miranda?
I can go in there and, yeah, I'll
Counties, both
play
counties.
around with it, because I was thinking,
If you don't find it, I will make you a copy.
Okay. okay, okay.
And then that is so.
Yeah, I will find it. I will-
This makes it so easy, then you
Yeah.
have to go with that.
Yeah.
I do.
No, you need,
Yeah,
And then.
I'll get it for you. You just tell me if you can't get it, and then I'll make you a copy.
Okay, all right. Well, I just need, I can find the website, I can get in there and get it.
Yeah. Okay, these I gotta redo up to,
Could add gold to
and that one.
the paved roads. And why even have a county government? I mean, just to go to
Okay, I'm gonna put these in here, so that,
So like with my granddaughter, when they did the surgery a year ago, it was a senseless surgery. They said they couldn't find anything. So what they did is they thought, well, we'll just remove the fat that's underneath your knee.
under the
So, and whatever that, yeah. So they didn't even, the aftercare was nothing like what this guy did.
good.
And he went in there and he said,
That's
the,
correct.
what, scan thing, the
If there's a,
MRI.
Or whatever.
It was cloudy and you couldn't see, but I can tell just by feeling that there's something wrong. Then he goes in there and finds 2 tears. But she's had this since she was in a softball injury.
Yeah. Are you gonna send the minutes? I haven't done my math yet for my bill. Does it have to
under
be turned
general
in?
powers, you don't have.
What bill?
county-
Oh, the
letter
yeah, for
ordinance.
mileage
Oh,
from.
you haven't done that yet?
Worried about it?
No, I got it.
No, the dollar ordinance.
Yeah, all I thought is 2 meetings or 3 meetings,
Yeah.
whatever it's been.
Just write your meetings and your mileage and just.
General people.
That's all we got to
Yeah,
do.
that's all you have to do.
So
And then
they do claims twice a
you
month,
just
right?
turn them in, they do it twice a month. Sometimes they'll go in and do it.
See, I'm gonna force you guys into negotiation.
Yeah, just your mileage and stuff.
Okay.
And if you had lunch, you're.
Now we're good.
They've had it.
Yeah.
Do we need to sign the minutes for them?
We're not.
Is your minutes
Commission's like,
signed?
oh, no, we're
The
not.
commissioner minutes? I don't think they were.
Well, we sign them when they go to a hard copy and archive, we sign the minutes.
Okay, so you want us to sign it?
I think
I didn't put
so.
a signature line.
Can you-
I think we all sign them. I mean, I can sign them, but it's, why not have all
So I
of
went
us?
over
Okay,
and testified.
so I don't know that they were all signed.
Well, I know that the clerk signs and then the chairman signs.
It's good practice for everybody.
Okay,
Count the minutes.
I'm just gonna sign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the ones from before were signed.
Why are we up?
Oh, I think I have them.
And then I'll have it so you can turn it in.
Yes, to her.
Stop.